You could have stayed home, Eren Yeager. Hey folks, I'm Jacob, this is Weebservations, and we're about to jump into episode 64... Episode 64 of Attack on Titan, the final season. I actually did a reaction video to the first episode of the final season, episode 60 of Attack on Titan. You can check that out here, hear my thoughts on the entire series leading up to that point, as well as my on-camera reactions to the return, which... Well, this is a hard right turn, isn't it? This is a different show than what we were watching before, not just because it's changed studios from Studio Wit to Mappa, but, so much has changed, and I'll get into that here in a second. But first, quick note, originally I was going to talk about, and was preparing a video for, was ready to shoot and everything, a video for episode 63, which was the last one for the several-week break leading into the new year. So I thought, well, that would be the best time to do one, right? To follow up. But then I saw the internet absolutely melting down over episode 64, episode 5 of the final season, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna mute all of that, hide all of that from my vision, and do that instead. Because clearly that's gonna be the most potent one to talk about. If you just want to see my live reaction, of course you can skip to this time code, but real quick, here's what I've gathered from the couple episodes leading up to this, and here's my thoughts on that so far. Stuff I like is stuff I've continued to like throughout, which is every character, no matter their position, no matter their sort of place relative to the protagonist, the heroes, is treated with the same sympathetic, raw, intelligent, piercing, view, I guess. So we really get into the hearts and minds of absolutely everybody, whether they're a dumb kid who is, definitely doomed and making all the wrong decisions, or a bitter adult who has made all the right decisions to survive, but has otherwise, sold their soul. All those classic, war archetypes, child soldiers, teen soldiers, the horrors of war, all that stuff in just a slightly mirrored, perhaps literally mirrored world. Attack on Titan is just so good at articulating every single person's specific flavor of madness, and everybody is going a little mad. From these new characters, even we have Gabby, who nothing good is going to happen to her, but she's so lovable, and so immediately you can see why she would become like a figurehead, like an adored, presence, not just on the battlefield, but within her own culture, the suppressed people, the Eldians, and even within Marley, and how that could, turn back. I don't know. She seems like a future disaster. Just waiting to brew, but she's so lovable, and you want Falco to be able to protect her, but in order for Falco to protect her, he would have to die and suffer, and just, I don't know, the bravery and the guts it takes to just write that without any, nobody feels safe. Nobody feels safe, and I don't think that's something you could always say about Attack on Titan. You could say there were a lot of deaths in it, but you knew, okay, the really important characters aren't gonna die. And now I think that's off the table. I like how Mappa is taking the direction more seriously. It's less flashy, none of that Tetsuro Araki style indulgence, I want to say, is welcome anymore. I mean, it was great when it was there at the beginning of Titan, when it was okay. Now we need to be, because the subject matter is so, it parallels history so tightly, and it is about very serious, very complex, very uncomfortable subject matter, they have pared back and just really focused on a lot of, less creative and dynamic and surreal and music video type direction that you associate with anime, and a little bit more a flat, straightforward shot with really detailed character animation, which gives us more the sense of this being sort of a prestige piece, or being, not that I would necessarily call it, but people, I wouldn't necessarily call this prestige TV or anything, but people are being forced to take Titan more seriously, which I enjoy. But there's still things I didn't care for in these episodes. The Tyburs, I'm a little uncomfortable with that. I don't know what to think about the Tyburs yet. The very idea of conspiracies, I mentioned this before, but the level of conspiracies that you have to reach for things to make sense dampens the story. I kind of like it better when it's just straightforward, this is an autocratic government, this is, a military coup or whatever, and it all sort of tracks without you having to go, and there's one person who knows everything about all of these factions and is, tentatively pulling the strings. It's not so stupid that one person has all the power like a supervillain and is controlling everyone else and everyone else is innocent. It's not that dumb, but the presence of the Tyburs and the idea of this Eldian sub-faction that betrayed the Eldians and is therefore held in esteem while the rest of the Eldians are subjugated. There's not a lot of historical precedent for it. There's a little bit, but not in World War II, which a lot of this imagery is from. We've now seen the world map of Attack on Titan's world, and it is literally, you know the Mirror Mirror universe in Star Trek? This is literally a Mirror Mirror universe. It takes place in, the Attack on Titan that we've known for a long time takes place in, like, Mirror Mirror Madagascar. And the bad guys and all this invasion is taking place from Mirror Mirror, like, South Africa. But all of these people are, like, white. But no, we've met some black people, too. But they're, I guess, from Mirror Mirror Europe. I don't know. It's weird. So, I mean, that stuff that gets too literal is stuff that makes me, like, I don't know. Did it have to be this literal? Couldn't have been stronger if we didn't have this conspiratorial Tybur presence. But we don't know enough about them to say whether or not. We're going to find out in this episode, I'm sure, because Mr. Tybur is about to give a big speech. I think it's gonna have some fireworks at the end. As for what I hope to see, I trust the story to just take me where it's gonna take me, but I can say something that I kind of hope not to see, which is, I said earlier, there's 4 would-be warriors, there's 4 candidate Titans, and Isayama is a big fan of 3, so at least one of these kids is gonna die before accomplishing anything of value, right? Now I have... The setup here is that there is a world leader conference in Marley hosted by this guy who is a member of this Tybur family who has seen his people persecuted in Marley, and he's gonna give a big speech with all the world leaders and the warrior candidates present in a bowl-like structure. And I think maybe all of these children except Falco could die. It could happen. Because the people who are not present at this are Falco, Eren, and Reiner. And Eren and Reiner are going to have a conversation of some kind, underground, away from this festival. I'm just worried they're all going to die. So let's hope that doesn't happen, and let's just rip the Band-Aid off, get right into Attack on Titan, episode 64, Declaration of War. Eren's back and he's a hobo. He looks like me, July of last year. Let's see what happens to him. Oh, it's starting. I don't think all the episodes had that graphic content warning on them. I'm worried now. I'm worried. Oh, Falco, your innocence is about to be torn in half right in front of you. Then chewed up, spit out, chewed up again. So I've had a couple of episodes to get used to this opening already, and I wouldn't say it slaps, because it's not that kind of vibe, but I will absolutely defend this opening. This is great. It's exactly what the show is calling for at this exact moment. He's being framed as sympathetic, so whatever he's about to tell all these people, it at least comes from a genuine place. Also, I assume this is Mikasa's ancestors, the Ackerman, whatever, bodyguards. The Super Ackermans. I don't know. We're gonna find out more about them later, I think. You can hear all the screams from here. It's almost like if someone turned into a Titan right now, they would kill all of them. Just explosion. Oh no, I don't like this. You're gonna want to be sitting down for this one. Oh no, they don't want to stay for the party. I don't like this. If they kill Gabby and Udo and that other girl whose name I don't remember. Don't do it, Isayama. I know it's tempting because you have a bowl full of people to explode, but don't do it. Please stop building me up for how many people are gonna get exploded. Oh god, and I guess the parents of Bertolt and Annie are also here. All the press. I suppose that only reinforces that, I guess, all these kids probably aren't gonna die, because we have all these unnamed people to explode instead. I don't know, I don't like Falco and Reiner and Eren being away from the action, because they have They have the most plot immunity, which means it's more likely that everybody outside is in trouble. This is like, You could have stayed home, Eren Yeager. You didn't have to come out here and kill all these people. I take umbrage with that excuse. Man, this guy's into the drama. This guy is, this Tybur guy, he's like, I'm not just gonna launch a war inside the internment zone. I'm gonna give him a show first. I'm gonna give him all the drama and conflama. I'm gonna light up the stage. It's like all the stuff you gotta go through on Splash Mountain before you get to the drop. All those animatronics might as well just be saying, you're gonna get f***ing wet. Tybur might as well be saying, you're all gonna die. But first, a history lesson. Oh, shit. He made them like a cartoon Wile E. Coyote Lupin the Third trapdoor. It's gonna put them out in the conservatory, and then they have to go all the way back around the map to get back into the war. Oh, so I guess that means Tybur guy is the Titan himself. So his memories are his, which is what's motivating him to do whatever this is. Oh, tell me more, conspiracy man. I need to know. Oh. That's unexpected. Oh, conspiracies. Come on, guys. Conspiracies. So let me get this straight. The Eldian Empire ran rampant and killed everyone, but in Marleyan territory, if they found Eldians, they would subjugate them, and so he quit warring because he realized it was hurting his people, and so he left and just let the people who were left behind continue to be subjugated. I'm kind of processing this. This is a very interesting Leonardo da Vinci portrayal of the man. So I don't really buy narratively. I mean, it's interesting, I guess, but like as far as if you're gonna go for realism, I don't buy the king who wielded this horrible world-conquering empire went, what have I wrought, and left. That doesn't happen. Like, that doesn't happen. It has not happened. I don't think you wage a horrible genocidal crusade across the earth and then go, well, I think I've done enough, I'm gonna leave. I've done enough. I've heard enough people. I don't know. And also, I don't think you should be giving him credit for that, necessarily. I want to hear it more from the horse's mouth. I want to hear Carl Fritz's take on this, rather than the Tybur's. Alright, so he's anti-Eren. We've got that. That's pretty much Eren. He's like, I finally get to grow my leg back. Sitting around with this stump for several years, waiting for this moment. Oh boy. I'm curious why he wants Falco to stay there. Does he feel like he owes him something? Is that just supposed to be what's left of Eren's goodness? I mean, not that it's better to traumatize this kid, but he's atoning for him directly and giving him motivation to want to kill him. It almost feels like the end game is going to be not Eren versus Reiner, but Eren versus Falco. That's what it seems like. What's been happening. This is Falco's episode 1 of Attack on Titan. Everybody's a bad guy. Duh. Because your dad's ex was jealous. That's why. Oh, and also Reiner broke down the wall. Ah, yes, when I was a child and unable to grow pubes on my face, I do remember saying something that angy. But now, he's a disgruntled, embittered hobo Jesus. And he's gonna... I am not entirely sure what he's after. I mean, I think he's probably gonna kill a lot of people over here. I think it's not gonna be good, whatever happens. I don't think he's gonna be friends with Falco anymore. Eren is, shall we say, getting way more than I ever expected him to get from Reiner. I believe it because Reiner's in the last year of his life, and that might be a place where his pride is finally, he's realized that he really has not accomplished anything, but, it's a bit much that he gets a complete and total apology from this guy who was putting everything on the line for what he believed in, even though he knew it was impossible by the time that it went away. Eren, why'd you take his hand, Reiner? Why'd you take his hand? Oh, I knew it! I fucking called it! Oh, genocide. Oops, all genocide. There's no good way for this to end anymore. Eren just killed a bunch of innocent people. Oh, wow. Bye, Tybur guy. Seemed like your heart was kind of in the right place, but time's up. Alright, well, the good news is all those kids are not dead yet. Alright, that was episode 64 of Attack on Titan, final season. Well, I don't know what to think yet, because for the most part it was just sort of a conversation between two frenemies that, in one sense, you would think they would have a lot to talk about, and in another sense, what is there to say? And that's totally vague and useless in terms of, from an analysis perspective. So I will say that I don't think there's anything they could tell one another, really, to change anything. The fact that Eren wanted to reconcile with Reiner or apologize or something before he goes genocide is noble of him, but they didn't really say anything. Mostly it was kind of like a little fantasy, a little bit more closure than Eren or anyone in the story has gotten for almost anything. Somebody who really did you wrong, who you trusted, has like a breakdown and says, you were right and I was wrong, kind of. Like, that doesn't happen. The only reason it kind of worked for me is that Reiner is, I mean, it happens, but not on the level of these are opposing sides in a war, sort of brother against brother sort of a thing. Like, you've invested so much into something you sacrificed your life for, you're not going to break down in front of your enemy and say you were right and I was wrong. That's, I guess, more what bothers me. But I believe it in the context of Reiner has less than a year to live. He's really thinking about the ramifications of having wasted his life. So I can see him grasping for any straws of, like, trying to make right anything. And do right even by Eren, who was about to kill a lot of his people. The funny thing is, somebody brought this up on Twitter at some point, and they said, this reminds me of Breaking Bad, and I would have never, ever, for any reason, stylistic, character writing style and development, or structure, I would never think to compare Attack on Titan to Breaking Bad, ever, until this last season, and then it's been like, Eren's kind of like Ron Breaking Bad from Breaking Bad. He's kind of a Heisenberg-esque figure at this moment, where it's like, oh, we should have known, like, at the beginning we were on his side, but looking back, if once you're in season 5 of Breaking Bad and you look back on season 1, you're like, oh, the signs were always there. This guy's kind of, his priorities are completely wrong, and he's kind of a bad guy, and he kind of has this Ozymandias lust for power, even at the cost of his own life and those he cares about. Like, it's there. And with Eren, it was there. It was like, I want freedom. I want what's beyond the walls because it's mine. And that's... whoops, not our hero. Oopsie. I don't know, it's a lot. It's a very heavy, it's not too heavy for the writing to bear, but it's on shaky legs sometimes. And I hesitate to draw historical parallels because I think they would be disrespectful. But as its own story, it's great, it's compelling. Is it too big for its britches? Maybe, but I like it when stories try to get too big for their britches. I appreciate the effort. And yeah, we're just gonna see how much genocide Eren can commit in a short amount of time, and what role Falco and his friends have to play in it. Because I care already about Falco and his friends, and that's a sign of a good story. Because I already love these characters who it seems like are just cannon fodder. but we'll see where it goes. Extra special thank you once again to my patrons over on Patreon. I couldn't do this without you, and it's still pretty unfamiliar territory for me, so I appreciate all feedback I could get about how I could improve this reaction format and what kind of shows you would like to see in the future. Hop on over to the Patreon and become a patron if you would like to vote on future video topics. You can also follow me on Twitter at Weebservations, check out my blog at weebservations.com, commission me on Ko-fi for an essay on the blog if you like. Subscribe, hit that bell button, and I'll see you again soon.